I think it's safe to say that, in this episode, we're going to establish the importance of execution, right? So, however, like I mentioned earlier, if we don't have strategy, then execution's really aimless, right? If we don't know where we're going, then any road will get us there. Um, so we must have that well thought out, well constructed strategy, especially when it comes to quality improvement, right? And we're leading a matrix program across an organization. And this is where we want to dig into today is, and we'll kind of start with this question. And Jennifer, I'll actually start with you here. So, as you develop your strategy each year, right? And we have some clients who actually have quarterly sprints, so they have a kind of a unique strategy quarter by quarter, but it feeds into an overall strategy. Just curious, as you create your strategy, how do you go about that?
Well, to be fair, our strategy and strategy to strategize has kind of evolved over the past couple of years, mostly because MODA hasn't really had a strong focus in Medicare historically. We didn't even have a Medicare department for oversight and stars until about 3 years ago, kind of a little bit before I came into the role that I am today. So it's been this evolving process. So when I took on this role, it was kind of that Q3 stage, and that's kind of where we've started. Once second plan preview comes out and we kind of get a gauge of where we're landing, it's really about digging into the data, where we landed, does it line up with our internal tracking, doing some root cause analysis of, where were the pitfalls, where were the barriers, where do we want to be, doing our best, stars math to project where we want to be next year that's reasonable, attainable, which measure priorities we really want to focus on, and then building out the strategy from there based off of those priorities and kind of bucketing it into accountable areas, whether it's pharmacy or, clinical or what have you. And then, of course, factoring in budgeting, which kind of is around that same timeline. So forecasting for the next calendar year, measurement year, what is it that we want to get to and how can we get there? But it's annual, but also kind of to your point, it's continuously evolving, and we've got strategies kind of thrown in throughout the year, just depending on what the channel is. Member facing is going to be different than provider facing, whether it's incentives, we have to line it up with contracts and things like that. So it's a little bit here and there, but I think the jumping off point is kind of that second plan preview. And, like we've been driving strategy through various star structures. We've got an action oriented team and also our executive level steering committee. So it's been evolving, and looking forward to working with you all this coming year to really refine our strategy and kind of move towards that more proactive. I feel like every year we're getting more proactive rather than reactive, which is what we've been historically. So yeah, it's always evolving, but living that quality improvement life, really.